So we got the final brackets for the King of the Ring tournament, which takes place this Saturday from Saudi Arabia. Now, there's been a lot said as far as, the location and everything that's going on, frankly, with the whole entire world, and whether or not WWE would continue and follow through with the same sort of approach that they've been taking, which is to soldier on and just continue on with this event. Personally, if you ask me, I would venture to cancel this event or either move it to a different venue. I feel like, given what's going on with everything as of late, I feel like the safety should be really prioritized as far as, everybody's, well-being over there. Regardless, they're going to soldier on. They're going to actually go over there this Saturday and this Friday night. And, a lot has been said as far as that goes. And we even got a situation about that here tonight, because originally we had a match that was penciled in between AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio for the IC title. In storyline, they gave off the kayfabe excuse of Dominic Mysterio not being 100% medically cleared. He was injured. We weren't really told what injury, he sustained or whatnot. So it's either, the possibilities are the fact that, either Dom or AJ Styles outright refused to go over to Saudi Arabia. And I think I'm leaning more towards AJ Styles. I don't think AJ Styles would, want to go over there, especially with what's going on, over there. And again, we got no Cena here tonight. We got no Punk here tonight. We did get the final matches as far as the King and the Queen of the Ring tournament. We got Jade Cargill. She beat Roxanne Perez here to advance to the Women's Queen of the Ring. And I kind of figured Jade would get the win here. I think they're going to run the play of Jade being Queen of the Ring. She's going to challenge Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam, and that's possibly where you get a Naomi cash-in. Whether or not we see Bianca at the end of that match remains to be seen. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And we also got Cody Rhodes against Jey Uso. That was the main event. Cody Rhodes went on to predictably win this match against Jey Uso. I had no sort of thought in my mind that Jey Uso was going to actually win here tonight, because then you would have Jey Uso against Randy Orton, and that really doesn't make a lot of sense. What really makes a lot more sense is that Cody and Randy match. But I'm not really, glad about how we're kind of getting it, because you would have thought, right? You would have imagined that first Cody and Randy match would be almost like a blood feud, a blood type feud match, where maybe Randy's the heel going into it or Cody's the heel going into it. But instead, we get sort of this King of the Ring, finals match between Randy and Cody. Now, again, this could set up something in the future. But right now, I obviously see Cody Rhodes going on to win the King of the Ring tournament and challenge John Cena at SummerSlam. Possibly, we could get a Seth cash in there as well. Seth Rollins was on this show. He really, he cut a promo here at the beginning of the show. And I don't know about you guys, but, as far as this whole Seth Rollins faction goes, I feel like there's still something missing from it. I'm not totally sold on this whole Seth Rollins faction as of late. I feel like they're kind of trying to be the bloodline without actually being the bloodline. I mean, I don't know. There's been rumors as far as a fourth potential member being added, but again, they gotta really nail down what they have at this point in time between Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Seth Rollins. We also got a Goldberg sit-down interview where he essentially told us why he was challenging Gunther. He mentioned the fact that last year at Bad Blood in Atlanta, Gunther got in his face, and in no other words, Goldberg told us that he was going to beat the fuck out of Gunther. Obviously, it was censored, it was muted, and then later on, we got a much better promo, in my opinion, from Gunther, where he came out there scorched earth. He essentially told us everything that we need to know about this Goldberg match, how he's going to humiliate Goldberg, how he's going to treat Goldberg in this match, how he apologizes to Goldberg's wife and his son for what he's going to do to him at Saturday night's main event. And when this promo was finished, I thought to myself, I said, where was this Gunther last year, because last year when he was world champion, I remember the storyline they ran with the entire year was, Gunther, he's not confident in his ability. He's not super enthusiastic about his world championship. And I just thought to myself, I said, this is Gunther. This is your, he's literally, for lack of a better term, the ring general. You know what I mean? So you should treat him as such. And he's the world champion. And I expect this. I'm not expecting much out of this match, to be honest, because Goldberg at this point, he can't even move. But if I'm expecting something, I want Gunther to come out as a fucking beast. But again, there is also the possibility, and don't get this confused, there also is the possibility of a Goldberg World Heavyweight Championship win, because Seth mentioned Goldberg in his promo and in the sit down interview that Goldberg had with Michael Cole. Michael Cole asked him the question. He said, this is your retirement match. What happens if you win the World Heavyweight Championship? And Goldberg, replied in his own way. He said, well, that's an interesting, dilemma. So are they prepping us for a Goldberg win? Because if they do, you may get a generational rant coming out of me, because I don't know if I could mentally even capture that as a whole. Some minor things here and there. We had a Becky Lynch match against Bayley, where the finish was Lara Valkyria got involved, caused a disqualification for Bayley. So now I presume at Evolution you're going to get a three-way between all these three women, buddy type thing that I was kind of talking about last week with Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, because Roxanne Perez aided Raquel Rodriguez when she was, out there brawling with Rhea Ripley. They got the table. They put Rhea Ripley through the table. Afterwards, there's this sort of moment between Roxanne and Raquel. And I'm telling you guys, if they want to run this story, if they want to run the play of Roxanne being in that Liv Morgan position that she was in a year ago when she took everything away from Rhea, now the roles are reversed. Roxanne is going to slowly take everything away from Liv Morgan as she returns back whenever she's due. And that was basically more or less all of Raw. Again, like I said, very kind of middle of the road as far as Raw goes. This wasn't a terribly exciting show. It wasn't a terribly boring show. It was just kind of in the middle. I think everybody's headspace at this point in time is, as far as Night of Champions goes, whether or not they're going to hold it there still, which kind of seems like that's the play at this point. Voice your guys' concerns down below as far as that goes. What do you think about that? And until next time, I will see all of you on the next one.